principles, how you help him to understand his purpose. And the speaker talked about before you help him to understand his purpose, even you yourself as a mentor, you should have a life purpose. You should have a mission. You should have a mission before you tell somebody else to have a mission, and that one really stood out of me because it's true you cannot mentor somebody on what has not worked on you. So that was good to me. Yeah. Anthony is doing that. You can tell us where you are and what stood out for you the last.
Sorry for that. I received a call. I'm using my phone. My week has been fine, and I'm fine. Last week, what stood out for me is based on what Brother John told us in terms of his answer to my question, that the mentee is basically the one who drives the mentorship relationship. Therefore, there's the much that as a mentor you can do as in comparison to how the mentee allows you to mentor them. Yeah, that stood out for me. Thank you.
And lastly, we can have Fred, are you there? Okay. Angela, please. Fred is talking. We can continue. Last session, Natanyanga went through the 8 steps, and I dealt with the first 8. That is the purpose of personal life assessment and the potential, that is the vision for the future. I believe we are ready to learn the remaining piece. We are the part 2 of the 8 steps of mentorship. So I'll take the opportunity to today we have enough time. Karibu sana Bwana John. Austin had already prayed.
Okay, did you want to pray first? Evans.
Austin had prayed.
Sorry?
Austin had prayed.
Oh.
Austin had prayed as it began. So
that is adequate. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. We agreed 5 o'clock is afternoon, not evening. And as usual, we want to ask everybody to mute, except when you are talking, and when you talk, you unmute and then mute again, so that it reduces the amount of background noise that is there. So we are on part 2 of 8 principles of effective mentoring. In revision, we want to mention that mentoring is a friendship between somebody who is more experienced with one less experienced, helping them on the path to being themselves, not copying the mentor, but being the better themselves, being better self. so that you do not try to reproduce yourself in a mentee. You try to produce a better mentee. So it has nothing to do with you. You are only an assistant. I think in chemistry, they used to call, what do you call the substance that helps to speed up the reaction? Catalyst.
Catalyst.
The last time I sat in a chemistry class is when I did my Form 4, 1971. So it's about 50 years, less a few months. So if I forget it, you can forgive me. So a mentor is a catalyst which affects the speed of the reaction without becoming part of the reaction. And that's what you as a mentor must always remember, that you are not part and parcel. When somebody becomes very good, you can't beat your chest and say, what a wonderful guy I am. The truth of the matter is, you assisted, but you are not part of the reaction. And that will help to humble you. But number two, it will help you not to be directive, like we discussed in the last meeting. Then of the 8 P's, we were able to start with the first 2, which is helping the mentee to understand why God created him, his life's calling, his purpose. I've now put on the next card is actually putting what we call the bridging the gap using the 8P. And we could call it the coaching bridge, if you don't mind. Yeah, there it is. And this one is what you need to have. Of course, you are going to get it as a note, and it's part of the International Leadership Foundation, ILF, what they use as a card to help people to understand coaching and mentoring. Looking on the very left, you see purpose. And then you can see the next thing after understanding the purpose. Remember, the process is you are moving from purpose through problem formulation, principles of change, plan of action, right up to reaching your potential. And then after that, you continue in partnership. Now, but the critical things that are along the route is if you really want to move from purpose to potential, from where you are now to where God created you to be, it will be important to understand there will be this gap. And that's the gap that we must help the mentee to deal with. Even if he knows his purpose, has done self-assessment, understands his potential, it will be very, very, very important that you help him through problems, because there may be something that is making him not understand or go through his problems. And you can assist him as you discuss with him to identify the problem, understand exactly what is stopping him being what God created him to be. Then teach him a few principles for change. What principles can I use in order to go through the process? Then help him to have a plan of action. Nobody should go through your mentoring without finally having a PDP, personal development plan. And I hope you as a mentor has a personal development plan that says where you are and where you intend to be and what you are going to do. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What do you see yourself in the next 10 years? That's what we call a PDP. And it will be important that you are able to produce. All the people that go through my mentoring process, we always, one deliverable is a PDP that clearly shows his vision, his mission, his core values. And then on the other side gives us a vision statement to understand exactly what his potential, where he hopes to be, and a mission statement clearly, and then clear problems that he is able to identify, and then an action program. Because you don't arrive at problem, there must be an action of how to handle the problem. You can't do your SWOT analysis without understanding what your weaknesses are. What are you going to do them? Remember, a weakness, you don't list all your weaknesses. You list only the weaknesses that can stop you reaching your potential. How will you handle them? Then you don't list all your strengths. You list the strength that can assist you to go to your potential. Then in the action plan, you will tell him exactly, you would write down an action plan. What's an action plan? It must give the objective. What are you trying to achieve? It must also give the activities, what you are going to do. Then it must give a target where will you, when will you reach it? And it must also say in the process, how will you know you have reached there? How can you be sure you have reached your objective? That's what we call an action plan. And I don't have enough time in this discussion to be able to go through it all. So I hope you can get that in. The bridge, the river is that stop you going to your potential. You need to understand the problems, the principles, and then the action plan. The next card answers the question, why do you find it difficult as a mentor to actually mentor somebody? And of course, when you talk about a mentor, we think about a leader, somebody more experienced, somebody better. Why don't people invest in others? You know, as leaders, we know we have a role to share responsibilities, to assist the people working under us or going to doing the project with us. And while we may intellectually know it is the right thing to do, help them, it may not come naturally. In fact, there are several reasons, and I'll give 5 that stop you. The first one is pride. We are so proud. The mentee makes us feel nice. Oh, you don't know that? You keep telling them, you mean even that one you don't know? Our pride will waste time rather than mentoring. And sometimes we give up on people very easily. Our pride says, I am not like that. I can't waste my time on you. We think we should be able to do it all ourselves anyway. So why should we be assisting the people below us? Whatever you want him to do, I can do. We think sharing a responsibility is a sign of weakness, that we can't get it all done. It's true, our pride and our ego can get in the way to our willingness and ability to share responsibilities, tasks, and decisions so that we can help others. So whether it is in the church, you are in charge of Bible study, you do not allow anybody else to lead. After all, who can lead better than you? Surely. Don't you understand whenever you are the one leading the Bible study, it runs so well. You give somebody else and he is confused. So you give up on ever assisting other people to become Bible study leaders. You can't mentor them to it. And the thing stopping you is pride. And the next one is the feeling that it's my job, it's my responsibility. We feel that ultimately these tasks and the outcomes are our responsibility. After all, I'm the Bible study leader. I will be the one held responsible. So therefore, if I give somebody else and it fails, then obviously, so we don't trust anybody else. And you know, there's no way you mentor somebody, especially now in the skills, to become better, somebody working with you, without sharing your responsibility. This puts pressure on us, but it gives us more control over the outcome. I know that because of course, I've worked from 1970s when I left university. I've worked with many people. And I used to, when I was very junior and doing my own things, I felt in control. The day I was made a supervisor was the undoing. Now you cannot commit, because you commit to your boss or to the organization, you do something, then your subordinates fail you. So if you're like taking over and leaving them, because you see, when they fail, the supervisor fails. So instead of investing yourself and helping them to become like you just feel like doing the job yourself. The other thing that stops us from being involved in mentoring others and helping them to become as good as ourselves is power. We need power. Sharing out will make you, and you know, so your mentees can become better than you in the thing you are helping them to do. Oh, you know, knowledge is power. If we have the data and the information, we have the power in a situation. If we share these responsibilities with others, we will be giving away some of that power. Okay, perceived. But it's very seductive power. So we don't want to share. So you don't help your younger brother to become as good as you. Because after some time, your parents will say, hey, instead of you doing it now, why don't you allow so-and-so to also do it? The next one is everybody tells you nobody can be like you, and you feel very nice about it. You have been doing this task for a long time. You know it very well. Perhaps it's even an area of work where your expertise led to your promotion, to your becoming who you are. In this case, it's easy to rationalize that we should share this responsibility, but it doesn't make sense. We are the expert. Anytime you give somebody else, he will do mediocre work. So you can't therefore sit with someone to help them because of this these problems. But the other thing that stops us from investing in other people is we are too busy. I can't mentor you. I'm too busy. For some of the others on the list we have mentioned, maybe the real reason, this sometimes is the one that we use. We don't want to say we are proud. So we say, I'm so busy. I can't have time for you. Busy is socially acceptable answer. So we use it. You are leaning on this crutch if you say, I would share this, but I don't have the time. If you mentor somebody, it slows you in the process of whatever you are doing. Because you share with it, he is slower because he's not as good as you. So the speed is affected. It will take me longer to share and show him than for me to do it myself. If you find yourself not sharing as much your responsibility so that others can become good and not doing as much coaching as you could, it is likely that one or more of these other previous things we have been saying are the real problem. Because, and I used to tell my staff that before I retired, people say, please don't bring us any more interns. If you bring an intern, his mistakes will be my mistake. I don't want interns. I said, please understand, if an intern has 3 months to work with you, the first month I agree, you have to work with him. But if he is somebody of average intelligence, the second month, it means in your department you have extra hands. He is going out to be doing work which you used to do. It lowers your requirement for time. By the third month, he is actually doing as well as anybody. So even if you serve 1 month, the other 2 months of the 3 months the intern is there, he will be an extra hand. The better you mentor him, the more you'll have help. It's like the way we help our younger brothers to go through school and to become qualified. Now, within no time, they're also earning money. So when our parents need help, they don't come to us only. They know your younger brother, whom you paid school fees for, is also able to share your burden as your parents become older. That's what we are talking about. The idea of mentoring gives us now the people I have gone speaking with. After some time, I give them a time to speak, and they speak so well. Next time I'm invited, like last year, I was not feeling very well, and I sent several of my mentees to various universities where I had been invited. And I remember somebody from Jaramogi Oginga, I asked them, how was the person? He says, wow, we wish you knew him. He was so good, we would like him to come back. Wow, I felt now, for sure, I'm no longer needed. Now, you need to understand that the truth of the matter is, you are multiplying yourself by investing yourself in others. And it will be important that you do that. Now, we want to do an exercise. And do we know how to break into rooms? Evans? That's too advanced. Okay, then. So if we can't break into rooms, we just continue. And I'm just trying to see who is there. Austin Nyoike, can you hear me? Austin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Nana.
Please answer. Give us the answer to poor self-image to positive self-identity. Share an example on how someone has helped you through mentoring to change from poor self-image to positive identity.
Okay, one of the ways through which somebody has helped me to change from poor self.
That's what mentoring is all about. You find somebody who is not sure of himself and you help them to be happy with themselves, which is a requirement if you are going to realize your potential. Is it too hard? Anyway, try your best. Write on the chat what your answer is.
Okay, right.
Josiah Wambua, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I hope you can hear me as well.
Very, very clearly. You are answering B. The B of the exercise. Go back to the B. You should whoever is presenting needs to go backwards to the exercise. And The B, if Josiah, you don't mind me reading it for you. Lack of confidence is the problem of your mentee. Lack of confidence and lack of initiative. Help him to come to where he is, confident, original, and constructive creativity. Now, either you tell us how you help a person or how you yourself were helped.
Okay. Do I answer now?
No, you write on the chat.
Yes.
Write the answer now. Write the answer. My friend Angela, you are with me. Angela, are you with me? Angela, are you with me?
Hello. Yes,
Now,
I am.
for you are moving. You are moving from. You are helping the mentee to move from limited supply mindset. It's we normally called poverty mindset. And you want them to move to. If you really want them to realize their potential, you have to move to abundance mindset. Have you been helped, or have you helped somebody move there, or have you seen somebody helped? Okay, Angela. Caro, short for Caroline Kegumbo. Are you with me? Caro, are you with me? Caro, are you with me?
Yes.
How are you, Caro?
Fine, thank you.
Now, you are going to tell us how you help somebody who had a corruption mindset to a life of integrity.
Okay.
Either you yourself were helped, but it's that easier to say how you help somebody or how you saw somebody being helped. What did they do so that he no longer believes in corruption? He now believes in integrity. Okay. Now we are with Cecilia Karaoke. Cecilia, are you with me? Cecilia, are you? Now you are helping somebody move from consumption mindset, production mindset. You know, consumption mindset, they're always saying, no, the cake, so and so. Even in politics, you keep talking about it. Such and such a tribe has taken everything. You never hear somebody saying, but have they produced? You don't have production mindset. You're always trying to talk about how to share the cake. It's not been shared properly. You never talk about making the cake larger. If the cake was larger, even if you had a smaller fraction, you'll still be okay. You'll be still rich. Have you helped somebody to come from this consumer mindset? Always, what can I get out of this? To, how can I contribute to make the cake bigger? Cecilia, are we together? Okay, Cecilia?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm moving to Kiejeku. Kiejeku, are we together? Kiejeku. Kiejeku wa Ajiro. Are you with me? Kiejeku, I can't hear you. Okay. Lucy in Kada. Can you hear me? Lucy, can you hear me? Lucy, can you hear me? Okay. Nicholas. Who can hear me?
Nicholas.
Oh, so Nicholas, you can hear me. You are dealing with help somebody with a bad gender imbalance to gender equality. There are some men who just think women are useless. In the process, when they lead a team, they can never reach their potential. Can you help somebody come from gender imbalance kind of view to gender equality so that he can actually realize his potential? Is it okay, Nicholas?
All right, sir.
Titus Kawech, are you with me? Titus, are you with me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Yes, you are helping somebody to move from the status quo to change leadership.
Yes.
There are people who just want, we are here, we have enjoyed it, it's our comfort zone, so they don't like moving. They don't like any change. How can you help somebody to accept change and be on a continuous change process so it becomes better over time?
All right.
Winifred Kisoi. Winifred, are you with me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes,
Now,
I am.
you are helping
Can hear you.
somebody move from self-centered leadership to sacrificial leadership. And Julius Nyaga, you're helping us move from mediocrity to excellence.
All right. I can hear you loud and clear.
So, can we go to the chat? Austin Nyoike. Now, and I'm looking at the answers. Austin Nyoike, one of the ways through which someone has helped me to move from poor self-image to positive self-image is by showing me the things in the other side in a manner through which I really desired. And I did work hard and smart to cross to the other side. And when I did that, I had a positive self-image. Good. Fred Magomere. Okay, that's a comment. Austin has not written a comment there. Angela, moving someone from scarcity to abundant mindset. I helped a staff move from thinking she does not have a certain competence and showing them how their past experience, knowledge, and different skills can be brought together to deliver. She now confidently considers herself competent. Wow. Any more comments? Everybody had a comment to work on. So, my guess is that you are still working on it. We'll come back to you. So let's move on. We now want to deal with that P, the P of potential, the P of potential. Here, you are helping someone to write their vision and mission statement. You, under purpose, they understood where they are going, but now you wanted to write it down clearly the vision of the future. Just look at Vision 2030 with the pillars. That is where Kenya wants to be by 2030. And you can see at the bottom of our Vision 2030 are values. If you have no values, you can never rise to where you want to be. So you want to help someone. So Vision 2030, the overarching vision, a globally competent and prosperous nation with a high quality of life by 2030. That's where they want to be. That's for the whole nation. Every individual needs to a state to summarize what they are saying that. Then they'll be able to arrive at their pillars. Under the in Vision 2030, under the economic pillar, we want to maintain a sustained economic growth of 10% per annum over the next 25 years. Now, obviously, with the best we have done is 7. We have not reached 10. But of course, we have put a target on moving. That is the economic pillar. Under the social pillar, we want a just and cohesive society enjoying equitable social development in a clean and secure environment. Then on the political pillar, we want an issue-based, people-centered, result-oriented, and accountable democratic political system. That's what we want. Obviously, our political parties have nothing. They have never had the word democracy. That's my personal view, and I'm not very politically aware. I'm not very good in politics. But I can see somebody can issue orders, and we are thrown out of the party. Issue orders, and all of you have to vote in a certain way. That's not democracy. But our intention is for us to get a globally competent and prosperous nation. We said we need a different type of politics. So And then you will need plans, strategy in order to arrive at the vision. That's the same thing you need for your mentee. You know, you end up putting personal life vision. You know, personal life vision. The next card, personal life vision. Where is God leading me? That's what you that's a question you answer. Then vision of selected mission, personal life in you look at your personal life, even organization. If you have started a business, where do you expect it to go? Now, over the next page, I ask, what do you see as my life's purpose, vision, mission, and core values in the future? Let's start with the vision. I normally ask people to do an exercise. I call it the 80th birthday speech. I first heard it from my wife, calling it the 80th birthday speech. But it can also be a funeral, talking in your funeral. What do you hear people saying after you have died? But now nobody wants to die, so let's not talk about death. So I normally give my mentee an exercise to describe for me what they hear somebody saying when they're 80. At the age of 80, most likely you're not looking forwards, you are looking backwards. Most of your friends have actually died. So when people attend your birthday, they talk about history. And I normally ask them to write about 7 speeches which are honest about what they have accomplished. What do they hear God saying? They may not be married now, but if they're intending to marry, write your spouse's speech, 1 page only. In other words, the spouse will be saying something like, the birthday today is of my spouse. I want to tell you his life has impacted mine. And I want to tell you how it has impacted mine. If God gives you a wife, what kind of impact will she be talking about at the age of 80? Even if you are married, you've been married for 20 years, there is still time to accomplish it. Even if you have not accomplished it, 80th birthday gives you the blue sky mentality. You have long enough to make mistakes and correct. So by the 80th birthday, you have made an impact on your speech. Remember, we agreed your purpose is other-centered. So you'll not be talking about the things you have achieved for yourself. Is what impact have you achieved in your marriage? And you need to write it down in a speech. And you need to write what you think you can do. Because if your spouse is born again, she will not read nonsense. And yet you are hoping that in your 80th birthday, you will tell the people speaking, you don't have to write a speech. I've written one for you. Here it is. You can read it if you agree with it. So write something you believe you can actually achieve. Speech number 2 is your son's or your daughter's speech. One child will write on behalf of everybody, will speak on behalf of everybody. So they can write it together. 1 page. If God gives you children, what do you hear them saying? If He has not given you children, who are your mentees? What impact do you hope to achieve? Number 3, think about your clan. Why am I using this? Because this is where you operate. They are your relatives. What kind of impact do you hope to make among your cousins? Remember, your uncles will be dead by then because you are 80, they are all dead. Your parents and your uncles are all dead. But your cousins, if they live like you, long enough like you, they'll be there. So one of them will read a speech. So instead of him preparing a speech, tell him, please read this one for me. Speech number 4, look for a professional colleague. You feel like your mission will be fulfilled by you becoming a doctor. What will you be known for in your career, in your field of medicine, that will help you to achieve what you hope to achieve at the end? What do you hope to achieve through your career? What do you hope to achieve? What's the vision you see? So your professional colleague will be there talking about the impact you have because of your work. Then we'll ask somebody to talk about your religious impact. We'll choose a pastor who is your age mate, representing the impact you made in both the discipleship and evangelism, your church, and then outreach. Then we are going to put somebody in the community. Now, not a relative at all. Remember, you are moving from the closest outwards. You are going to a wider circle. So we finally now go to your community representative. Of course, it may mean where you live. What impact you make in the estate where you live? where you have bought a house or where you have built a house. Do you hope to just be known? What impact you hear God telling you because of this neighborhood? This is the impact you make. And one of them will read a speech. The other ones, the last two, are not for everybody. If you're a national leader, you have made a national impact. Maybe you became an MP, you became somebody big who could make impact beyond the first six. Then you can write a speech. This is the impact you have made nationally. Do you hope to make an impact nationally? If somebody came to give you a national impact, what do you hear them saying? And then finally, some people have international impact. They can talk about what they have done in Congo, what they have done in Malaysia, because they are international in their impact. Again, not everyone can write that. But it is when you are young, you start seeing. Remember, we are talking about your potential. Some people, potential will reach only the relative. But I hope at least the first four, you must do. The first five, you must do. But my suggestion would be, try to think through. This is not something that I wish for thinking. It is a prayerful exercise. And you need your mentee to, don't tell him to do it now. Give him a month or a week if you can, but he needs time away from his normal work to prayerfully think. What does God expect me? What impact does God expect me to make in any one of those 8 areas? And it's important to understand that that's what the P is for. Potential. Where do you hope you can actually reach? And you know, sometimes you can't. If you came to me, I'm now, I've just told you it's about almost 50 years since I left Form 4. If you had come to me when I was finished Form 4 and given me, there would be a problem with some of the things God has helped me to do. I didn't see myself ever doing it. So my suggestion is you write this, and when you write it, every 5 years, you may need to review it and see whether you are going to that direction or not. However, the reason you are doing all that is so that you write a summary statement. When you read through all the 8 speeches or 6 speeches, you'll see there is something recurring. What the spouse said, what the child said, what the professional said has something to do with it. And you can therefore write a statement, 1 or 2 sentence statement that helps to summarize all the impact you made in the 8 areas or in the 6 areas. That's what you call a vision. A vision is a noun. A vision is like an architect's drawing. It gives you the completed building before it is ever built. You can have an architectural drawing of a house and you have not even bought a plot yet. So it is looking at the end backwards. And from then onwards, once you write your vision, you will now be, every time you are doing something, you ask, how does this activity help me to achieve my vision? And if it can't, you don't give a priority. From then onwards, even if you are not married, Evans, you do not marry someone who will not help you to go to your vision. So when you are dating a girl, you ask, how can she help me to do the things I say? For example, under the pastor's representative, I hear myself talking about the many people getting saved. This girl doesn't look serious with the Lord. Can she help me go there? If the answer is no, one date is more than enough. So you understand that from then onwards, all your future decisions will be evaluated on the basis of the vision you have. Then after that, you write a mission statement. And when you talk about the mission statement, again, I've run out of time. But I normally tell you, remember, vision is what you will achieve by the age of 80. What is mission? What you will do in order to achieve it. What you will do, your mission. Mission is a verb. It is what you do. What you will do depends on your gifts. So I'd like you to write down very clearly, what are 10 things you do well? Write generally anything. How do you know to do well? People tell you, wow, that was fantastic. This is very good. What are things you do well? Maybe you are good with children. Write it down. Maybe you are good in dealing with old people. Write it down. Maybe you are good in games. Write it down. Write 10 things you are good at. Then change subject and write 10 things you enjoy doing. Why? Or you are interested in doing, you enjoy doing. Why are you writing it? Because the things you do well is not because you are great. They are gifts from God. And God is giving you a gift that will help you to go to your vision. The things you are interested in, that's why the interests differ. For example, I can't stand watching a game of 90 minutes football. I keep wondering, 22 grown-ups running at one ball. What for? But of course, that is me. Most men actually are glued there. They can even stop eating. The other time you see people killing each other over it. We just have different interests. So your interests are inborn. And you need to understand that those interests, God is using the interest to give you direction to what your mission is. 10 things you sense a conviction for. This is not because you are gifted or you are interested. There is a deep conviction about doing something. What are those things? Write 10 of them. And then finally, write a list of what appears in all those 3. But there's one more list you should write. Things you feel uncomfortable with. Most likely, the reason God makes you uncomfortable with something is so that you can become a solution to it. And those are the things that will help you to know what your mission in life is. What can you do in order to realize your vision? And we could go on. That's the P of purpose. We go then to P of problem analysis. Here, now that he can see clearly, we have done a detailed work on where he is going, but there are problems that will stop him going there. Identify barriers to moving from present to desired state. I'm calling a bottom line problem statement. What are the issues? What is it I need to do in order to arrive where I'm going? Then you do a gap analysis. What's the gap between present and ideal goals? And what is keeping you from reaching your goal? Again, you can go back to the analysis you have done before. You'll see your weaknesses. You'll see your threats. Each one of the things you are writing down are going to end up in your PDP, personal development plan, because there must be a solution to everything you are identifying in this problem. So this problem saving analysis is creating what are the barriers that can help you, that can stop you going where you have just described you want to go. These are barrier busting mentality, which you need to talk about. What are those? In other words, don't just use them as excuses. And I think I talked about that last time. You must help your mentee to move away from dealing with excuses. Principle number 5, teaching principles of change. What are the powerful principles to help you transform your frame of reference, your mindset? What principles are being violated in the core of your problem? Negative. These are the things you help him to move away from. And I think the exercise I gave you, those things I mentioned there are things that will help. These are principles that can stop him or help him to move. That's why we listed them at the beginning. What principles need to be followed to positively shift from your paradigm, value, or your mindset? And how do you attain or know this? And that will be very, very important. Now, let's see what you said about these principles of change, principles that you need to deal with. Angela talked about moving from scarcity mentality to abundant. Josiah, sometimes back in 2017, September, a man called Reverend Luke Odhiambo threw me into the deep end of the pool by asking me to preach during Sunday service at AIC Milimani, which is my local church. I had all the fears, wondering how I would do it. He took his time to encourage me, and I was able to gain confidence. He did not stop at that. He has kept exposing me to many other speaking engagements. With the time, I have gained confidence. As a result, my calling as a preacher is clearer. That's one of the things. So what is stopping the person moving on? Lack of confidence. Cecilia, consumption mindset, needs to be moved to production mindset. A friend of mine advised me when I was looking for a job a year ago, and he told me I have much potential to be an employer instead of an employee. And out of that, I started a business, which now has 5 employees and growing. Wow, what a good guy. He helped him to move from a job seeker to an employer. And that is something. That's a mindset. There's a mindset of consumption where you're always trying to get things from your parents. My parents are bad. They don't be like the parents of so and so. What about you? What can you do to add to your parents rather than consume from them? Winifred Kisoi, he moving someone from self-centeredness entails letting one know that trees don't eat their own fruits, which we talked about last time. Rivers don't drink their own water. This means that no one lives for themselves, but for others. Yeah, that's very good, Kisoi. If we are able to help others become better than even ourselves, then our society will be better. We'll be living in a better society. I can hear you saying. If, for example, we are able to empower more people financially, then we will have few people asking for financial help. If we are able. Wow. Julius talks about how to help somebody move from mediocrity to excellence. These I have done by appealing to their potential, showing them they are capable of much more than they are achieving currently, and showing them that the path from mediocrity to excellence in performance, especially when you show a mentee how excellence changes their life. They are inspired to and strive towards excellence. In the course of mentoring students, whenever I show them how excellence can change their lives, they are inspired and they abandon the spirit of mediocrity. Caroline Kegumo, how you help someone come from a corruption mindset to a life of integrity. I would begin by explaining what the Bible says about corruption and how and why it upholds integrity. I would then proceed to show results of corruption, citing examples of the known cases we have in our country of corrupt people. That they would discourage that corruption, for example, discourages hard work. It prohibits someone's growth career-wise, and the law of the country is against corruption anyway. Hence, if caught, one can be jailed or face other consequences. You show them that, and then, of course, you have to show them examples of people that have had integrity, and they may have used a wrong route, but they still reach where they were going. Nicholas, I would guide my mentee into appreciating that they are biologically and emotionally different from the opposite gender. So they move them from gender, being gender insensitive, to being gender sensitive. That means they recognize the other gender and see them as part of the creation that will help all the society to become better. The differences are important, natural diversity that should be viewed positively, you will tell the mentee. However, the most important human capabilities such as intelligence, virtues, do not depend on your gender. Therefore, any gender can achieve their full potential socially, economically, and spiritually. Then Titus says, to have to help someone accept change. In one of Dr. John Maxwell's books, he writes that growth is intentional and life starts at the end of our comfort zone. In order for one to move and change himself, you should be intentional, acknowledge where you have come from, where you are and where you want to be. Therefore, change is inevitable. Another thing is to start someone to open up his mind to see what is outside the box through motivation and help him interact with the people who have gone ahead. So we are talking about principles for change, moving away from a mindset that will stop you reaching where you are going to a mindset that will help you to change. Principle number 6 of the 8 P's is process. You now teach him step by step things that will appear in his personal development plan on how to move. Now that you have done, with the first 5, you have done all the background work. What are the major steps to help you reach your goal? Now you help him in writing the PDP. This is where I want to go. This is my vision. In order to reach that vision, this will be my goals and target. In 5 years, I would have done this. Another 5 years, I would have done this. You set clear goals. And then number 2, you have performance agreement. How will you measure whether you're achieving your goals? Then you create a performance review where he can sit with you, the mentor or somebody else, to check how well he is progressing within that and how it will be assessed. One of the most dangerous things about action planning is you put an action, you put a target, but you are not clear how you will measure whether your objective was met. If you put a clear measuring device, then it means it will be very clear when you fail, and it will not become a debate. And that's very, very important. What steps must you take to avoid obstacles which would keep you from accomplishing your goal will be part of this process. And you see the importance of ensuring focus. Number 7 is partnership. You are now teaching somebody, after you have now clear action plan, you are teaching him that you don't depend on yourself. God has given you a lot of resources. And part of the resources are your friends. How can you partner with your parents? How can you partner with your mentors? How can you partner? What are the networks that can help you to go where you're going? And that's one of the areas the mentor can be very useful. Suggesting people and things and resources that can help him go where he is going. He is the one who has discovered as he is in a prayer where he is going, but you can give him your network to become part of his network. Who are the people with whom you can collaborate to help you go to the goals you have set? Mentor relationships, accountability partner who can hold you to account. Which kind of partnership do you avoid? Because not every network will be useful. What partnership can stop you? How do you avoid them? And then number 8, you now are moving. You are clear with your PDP, but your PDP must include number 8, progress tracking. How am I going to where I have set out to go? And this is where we are talking about regular performance evaluation for improvement. And that will be very important. Exercise that you do after the class. How are you mentoring and developing change leaders in your organization or in your life? In what ways are you tracking and measuring the progress for reaching goals in your mentoring experience? So each mentoring experience has an objective. How are you doing that? It is in doing that that you will teach your mentee how to measure in life, because you're not with him throughout the whole process to the age of 80. You know, I don't think you'll be able to break out into rooms. And I want to finish there. We have only 1 minute. But because we didn't start on time, I'll take another 10 minutes for discussion. Please write your questions and we'll look at them. But if somebody has a question they can verbalize, we are ready for the question. Yes, Julius? Julius, you want to ask a question or make a comment? No question? Evans?
Yes, Brother John, I just wanted to say thank you for the delivery of the link of helping a mentee. It is helping me more to define my goals, not question.
Thank you very much.
The comments, and I'm really grateful. I've learned a lot, especially back with personal awareness. I've done the personal test several times back, but I realized the more I think, the more I get clarity and understanding of really who I am. And as you told us, that for you to mentor, you have to really have done yourself a good mentor.
Thank you. Anybody else with a comment or a question? You will now understand why we need the 8 P's. Every one of the P will help somebody to deal with the immediate problem. The problem that brought him will be seen along the route. And then you'll be able to share, based on his own findings, how best he can actually deal with it. Anybody else with a comment?
I have a question.
That is Winfred.
Yes, I have a question, please.
Karibu.
My question is how to, maybe you can help me, how to deal with where you realize your mentor is quite a slow learner.
Your mentee.
And how just to deal with it.
Do you mean mentee or mentor?
Sorry.
Winfred, do you mean mentee or mentor?
A mentee who is a slow learner.
Yeah.
How do you deal with impatience? Because
yeah, I agree with you, Winfred. The problem is not the mentee. The problem is the mentor. You cannot, and I keep saying, don't try to do mentoring at your speed. You do mentoring at the mentee's level. In other words, mentoring is mentee-centered, not mentor-related. So if, for example, you did something and you knew it within 2 days, if the person takes 2 weeks, that's still okay. You are not moving at your speed. So the first way to help you is don't be mentor-centered. Become mentee-centered. Number 2, find out what slows him down. Because if it may be you are asking him to do something, but he is so busy preparing for exams, he can't give you exercise the time. That does not mean he is slow. It means the amount of time he is allocating to your exercises is not enough to go at your speed. So the first one is be mentee-centered. Number 2, find out from him before condemning him. Find out what are the issues he is actually relating with. The third one is motivation. Because maybe the reason why he is slow is he can't see how this will benefit. Please never ask for anybody to do anything unless you tell him how he will benefit. What is in it for him? Is he doing it just for you? I'll tell you later. Don't worry, I'll tell you later. No, he will not be motivated. People must see the end. Just like you can see our 8 P's are all centered on the final thing, 80th birthday. That's what everything else you are doing is to help you to go to 80th birthday. So you start with the end in mind. That's what Steve Covey also teaches in the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Start anything with the end in mind. Those 3, Winfred, will help you to slow down and go at the speed of the mentor, or alternatively, help him to increase his speed. I hope I'm clear.
Yes, you are clear. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes, Tony here. A quick one. Kindly comment on the place of confidentiality on mentorship. A second question: is it wise to recommend your mentee to a colleague who may mentor them on a particular area that you believe the other person is well versed in, and you've seen that your mentee is passionate in that area, and you may not be as competent as the person you would want to recommend? Is it good to sort of share out your mentee?
I can see, Anthony, I did not do number 7 properly. That's what you meant by network. That you release your network to your mentee so that you are suggesting, hey, you want this? I know a banker. And if you're interested, if you can see you are going to the 80th birthday through banking, I'm going to make an appointment for you with my friend. Then you go to your friend and say, hey, there's this mentee I'm mentoring. Can you have time with him? I do that all the time. So that's one of the most important deliverables from a mentorship. Releasing your network to him. If you see, because you now know where he is, and you understand yourself, you are not good in everything. So don't try to become a reference point on an area you are not good at. But you know people who are good in that area. So Anthony, I totally agree with you. It will be important that you release your network. The other one, the other question on confidentiality is a basic. That's a basic. The moment I have shared something with you, then I hear it from somebody else. That's the end of the partnership. Because all the things you are discussing are very personal and confidential. That's why I'm saying for you as a mentee, because I know, like I said, all of us mentors are also mentees. Do not stay with somebody who is going to destroy you. Because you'll leak some information and could destroy you. So one of the most important requirements for mentorship is confidentiality. That if I want to share information, like I want to tell my network about you and how they can help you, I must tell you, I'm going to suggest to Otieno that he helps you. Is that okay with you? It will be important that confidentiality is understood. You are not at liberty to share somebody's information without his permission. Thank you very much, Anthony. That was very, very useful. Very, very important questions. Anybody else?
I have another question, if you can allow me, please.
Yes, you are welcome, Winifred.
My question is, from this class of mentorship, we've been encouraged to practice same gender mentorship. If it's a lady to lady, a man to man. But you realize sometimes as a lady you receive young men who are just like your young brothers and they really want you to mentor them. How do you ensure, or how do you maybe refer them to other men who can mentor them? Or what should you do in that case?
Let me make 3 suggestions. Number 1, understand that age, once you are both adults, one in their 40s, the other one in their 20s, there is nothing to do with age. When it comes to emotional, sexual feelings, they have nothing to do with age. So you need to understand, you as a mentor, mentoring the opposite sex, you could very easily end up with a sexual relationship which had started with very, very good intentions. And that's why somebody asks you to be very careful mentoring across the gender. However, sometimes you are the only one with a skill and you can't tell somebody to go somebody else because there isn't somebody else with the same skills. So you have to mentor across the gender. That takes me to my next point. Now that you know what the risks are, it means that the best thing, like I normally do if I'm meeting somebody like that, I'll go to a Java. It will cost me more money to buy them tea because I'm the one who has forced the meeting there. But it means that the circumstance and the area are such that even if the devil wants to tempt me, he has more challenges than if we were in a private area we are meeting. So never pretend to be mentoring somebody in your own house and you are only there, you are the only one there, or in their house and he's the only one there, or she is the only one there. Create circumstances such that it is very clear that even if you are tempted, that direction might not go. Thirdly, and very importantly, let your testimony be upfront. Whoever is a mentee, it will be important that they understand what your intentions are, who you are. Talk about your husband, talk about your wife, talk about your boyfriend. Let's be very clear you are happy in your relationship. Because even young men don't mind a sponsor. And I hear sponsors can also be women. So it's important to understand, to come out clear with the person that you do not want to go that direction and you're happy with where you are. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that's very clear. Thank you so much.
Okay. Anybody else? Any one of the 8 P's that needs clarification? Josiah?
I think, yes, Brother Nganga, I'm so grateful for the very useful insights that I have gained on my end. And I think besides being equipped to mentor someone else, this has been of much more help to me than probably maybe I'm thinking of giving it out, but I would definitely not keep it to myself. So I just wanted to express my gratitude for this very helpful information. I feel empowered. Asante sana.
Nimeshukuru Bwana by helping you to understand what I was saying. Okay, Karaoke?
Yes, thank you, Chairman, for
giving us your time and for sharing with us. We really appreciate. You took me through the training, and it was very helpful for me in terms of clarifying my vision in life, and that has helped me even in terms of decision making. At least I make decisions that are in line with my vision and mission for life. So I'm very grateful for that.
Karaoke, that is called a testimony, and that's very useful for the others listening to know I'm not talking theory. There is karaoke. We have gone through the 8 P's with him.
Yeah, it is very practical. I know that because I have utilized the lessons that I learned. However, I must confess that I have not mentored people so systematically following that process. But as you have gone with us through this, I am more encouraged to be more systematic, especially following the 8 P's, the way you have explained. So thank you very much. I just want to request for like 2 more minutes of your time. I intend to invite the people who are here to Elnet, and since you are here and you are our chair at Elnet, maybe you can extend that welcome to them.
Okay. Everybody, all the 16 or 17 people that came, we are hoping that you are interested in ethics. If you can see, the emphasis of the 8 P's are on helping people have values. They are all value-based. And of course, you will be mentoring people in their specific skills, but understanding that they have values. And we have an organization called EONET. This mentoring skills workshop is actually sponsored by EONET. EONET stands for Ethical, L for leadership, N for network, Ethical leadership network. So we want to bring people together who want Kenya to become an ethical nation, especially among the leaders. So we have one group we call governance, who are helping to create ethics within our governance. Whether we are talking about the political side, the legislature, or we are talking about the executive side, the civil servants, or we're talking about the justice side, the magistrate and judges. So we have people that are working on that, and they were very very fortunate. God opened doors for them. They are the ones who wrote the values for Vision 2030, and also assisted to write the Values Act later. So I think it's important. So I'm saying all this to tell you, in addition to your mentoring, it will be good to join EONET so that you have like-minded people who believe in influencing the leadership of our country. First of all, in governance, that's one group. Then you have another group we call business. Business is how can we introduce ethics among our business people, whether they are business employees or business owners. And there's a group that concentrates only in trying to introduce ethics in business. And we have a monthly meeting we call Business Leaders Forum, where business leaders influence each other and share the challenges they are facing in trying to practice ethics in their business. The third one is what you are involved in, which is leadership, influencing young people to become the current and future leaders who will be ethical. We believe that this is where we will most be successful because they are not yet soiled. They are young in high school or university. And my prayer is that you who have come to this one will join the wider EONET, but in addition to that, you will be in the mentoring group, where your basic aim is how can we introduce ethics in the universities and in colleges and in church youth groups. How can we convince people that it's possible to succeed? Young people, it's possible to succeed even when you are ethical. I think that's basically. Of course, the fourth thing we have not done very well. We would like to write about it, publicize material, and you're looking for people that are good in social network, in IT skills, who can try to put this message in a wider society through the social media or through newspapers. If you're interested in that, again, you can see karaoke, and you'll be any one of those 4 groups. You can be, of course, you don't have to be just one. You can be both in mentoring and governance, or mentoring and be also involved in the one of getting the information into the wider society. I hope karaoke have met your target.
Thank you. You have indeed. And already someone has texted on the chat section that they want to join the governance group, and I will help them. So anyone who wants to be part of LNET, please contact me. I can add you to the LNET WhatsApp groups, and from there we can engage. We will continue next week. I wish we can have the chair again.